Hi everybody, my name is Hector Esparza Jr. Welcome to tonight's fashion show. We are so excited to bring you the Fast at UCLA Spring Runway Show, where we'll be displaying 20 designer collections. Everything you see will be student-made and student-led. We are super excited to bring this to you. The show has been 2 years in the making, and we hope you enjoy the program. Thank you.
I'm Ishmael Jasmine. So I'm a psych major. So we learn a lot about nature and nurture, and a lot about how your environment plays a role on you. So me looking at that in terms of design, I could be around LA and just see architecture and stuff, and it kind of just inspires me. It's oh damn, I saw this and now I can create and use what I've seen to help enhance my designs. Going searching throughout LA has been really fun to me. I search for clothes, I search for pieces, and then I rework that to make it into something new. This is my first time ever having anything professionally done on a runway. So I was I want to be able to have fun with it, especially since for the last 2 years I've been designing stuff and making a bunch of stuff. I'm sort of getting a style, but I didn't want to box myself in and say my line is going to be about this. So I would just say my line is basically a collection of things that I've learned over the last 2 years, and I'm just trying to put everything that I've learned into this line.
Hi, I'm Lauren Alasko. I'm a second year here at UCLA, and the name of my collection is Coming of Age. Coming of age is about redefining yourself. Whether it's because you've been through a breakup or you're entering a new stage in your life, you probably want to reinvent yourself also when you're at a young age. And I've also been inspired by coming of age movies and kind of feeling lost as you find yourself. So I wanted to convey that feeling through my collections. And I think my favorite part of that process is seeing my feelings translate into clothes. And then when I see the clothes in the end, I'm yeah, that's the feeling that I was going for. So you'll see pieces that don't really fit together, but maybe if you rearrange this jacket with a different bottom from another look, they will find their way together. That's not something that's really been tackled in the fashion industry. But I really want to convey that feeling of being lost, trying new styles, and ultimately finding yourself in the end.
I'm Ethan. I'm a first year, and the name of my collection is Part-Time Plastic Company. Part-Time Plastic Company as a whole is a brand about just commentary or social commentary overall. Workday Experiments is the collection I'm presenting at FAST, and it's about the unhealthy corporate culture that everybody, well, a lot of people endure. And I'm trying to show the mental anguish, stress, and overwork and self-destructive tendencies that are common in that type of culture. So a lot of the clothes reflect that kind of struggle within. From a design standpoint, I really like playing with proportions, fabric manipulation. I love distressing, and I love making things what they shouldn't be in clothes. There's a lot of weird proportions, overly cropped garments with ridiculously long sleeves, and I'm just both trying to play with the garments themselves, as well as the culture of corporate garments themselves, because the connotations they carry behind them too. So.
My name is Peñalosa. I'm a second year, and my line is about vulnerability. The inspiration for my line, it is based on my experience as a queer person and navigating my identity, and especially in a heteronormative society where I can't necessarily show my affection to people in traditional ways. So going about that in my daily life, it's been kind of difficult to navigate through, but I'm very happy to be able to express it now, and it has been a journey to accept all of that within myself. I was reflecting on how most of my relationships, they you need to get to know each other and reveal certain parts of yourself that in order for the relationship to grow and for you to grow as a person, then you have to be vulnerable with people. And I really wanted to reflect that. My designs, they're mostly based on my models that I choose, or something that would fit them, but also the theme. And I like to take that into account while also putting bits of myself into it. And I'm just really happy to express that within like my work and my line and who I am as a person.
I'm Katie LaCava. I also have two other partners, Marina and Ali. So I'll just be talking today, but the name of our line is Fear of the Unknown, which is kind of like an edgy title, but we chose that just because we wanted to kind of set the tone for the whole thing. We went for more of like a grungy, post-apocalyptic, distressed vibe with all of our clothes. Most of our stuff is thrifted items that we've like reconstructed, so a lot of it has to do with taking apart and putting back together, which kind of follows the theme of the apocalyptic hyper pop like area. We want to create things out of what is seen as nothing now or useless, and make some really cool stuff. So we want it to be like accessible, and for people, honestly, like the people around me here at UCLA, like those are the people that I want to see wearing these outfits.
My name is Nancy. I am a second year, and the name of my line is the Denim Blues. The inspiration is very like the early 2000s. I feel like it's very trendy right now. I grew up in the early 2000s, and so I feel like it's very nostalgic, and like a lot of the fashion trends, I was a young child, so I couldn't really participate in it, and I've just been seeing like all over my social media like the resurgence of the early 2000s, and so I really wanted to like participate in the trend. I would say the goal of my line is to promote sustainability and show that like you don't need a lot of resources to design your own collection. Because my collection is made out of all of my old like childhood jeans that I can't fit into anymore, so it's just reusing those fabrics. Before I was just more like a viewer, but now I can really see the trends and participate in it and then put my own twist on it, so I think it's a new era for me. Yeah.
My name is Rebecca Bloomer, and my line is based on the biblical 7 days of creation. And I have each look represent each day of creation. So look 1 is based on day 1 of light. Look 2 is atmosphere, and then I have a look based on flowers, animals, dry ground, space. And I chose this theme because it went hand in hand with the beginning of me trying to sew, and I know that the biblical 7 days of creation, it's the first chapter of Genesis in the Bible, and the Bible also plays a huge role in my childhood and my life. I incorporated a few trends like rounded sleeves, puff sleeves, some colors into the looks. I am taking an older, more concept that's seen as ancient and kind of putting a modern twist on it, and incorporating different trends into each look.
Hi, my name is Sabrina Costa, and I'm a designer this year for FAST. So my line is inspired by the 2021 Met Gala theme, so it's like America, a lexicon in fashion. I did the Met Gala theme my freshman year, so I was kind of like wanted to do like a full circle, like do it again this year. And so a lot of my looks are inspired by a lot of like female celebrities from like the past and like some from like the present. So I'm doing like looks inspired by Cher and like Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn. For me, I was mostly focusing on like recreating and like modernizing looks from the past. So yeah, that's what mostly inspired me. My creative process, I typically like to start by just kind of like looking at things that maybe like other designers have created and like pulling from like different things that I've seen like maybe on like the red carpet or like from like pictures from like runways and things like that, and I like try to kind of get an idea in my mind of like how I can pull like kind of like tips from what they've made into like making something of my own.
So elevator pitch of my line, I guess, would be that it's domestic wear meets Tommy Hilfiger meets Americana, also with bonnets involved. I was inspired by Like having worked in restaurants and worked in kitchens, and I was really inspired by like checkered tablecloths. So that's why you see lots of like checkered patterns in my line, and that was like the kind of color palette inspiration. And I liked the idea of using tiles rather than fabric. So what I do is I roll out these tiles and then I cut them according to like the measurements that I wanted, and then fire them in an oven, and then I paint them, and then I glaze them, and then I chain them together and solder the chains, and then from there create the shape that I want. See how it fits on the model.
Personally, I think clothes are an amazing tool for a lot of people. This year, especially after COVID, I realized that I don't care about people's judgment, and I just want to wear whatever the bleep I want to wear. I have gone so over the top with my clothes. I wish I could show it to you today, but I've gone so over the top, mixing and matching things that like you never would have otherwise put together. And I want people to look at the clothes and think, wow, that's so foreign to me. That's something I never would have the courage to try out. But then you see it on a stage and someone so confident is walking down that stage wearing something related to like BDSM. And you think, you know what? If they can walk down a stage wearing that, I can do it in the bedroom. We're only just starting to get into a period where people of the LGBTQ plus community feel accepted. So I just wanted to like show on a stage something that explores every part of that community. We are stepping into a new era where we can be accepted, not only by others, but also by ourselves.
My name is Priya Kinibuena, and the name of my line is "Weld with me like a net we also sit in." I chose knitwear, or like to do a mix of knitwear and sewing, mainly because I love the texture, or I like using materials where when it goes on the body, the way it shapes or the way it looks changes, not significantly, but kind of just like alterations in like how wide things are. Runways are really like interesting spaces when it comes to design. I think most people, when it's like a runway where the clothes end up getting sold or it's like ready to wear, I like the sensation that it's a very transitory space. It's kind of like, I know people hate the word, but it is liminal in the sense that that's not the final destination of the clothes. That's not even the purpose of the clothes. And you can sometimes, I think it's the best when you can tell those clothes aren't exactly for the models, it's for somebody to wear later. But I really want to emphasize that the space that like we see during the runway is not actually like the final destination or the final purpose of what is being shown.
My current line is about my 6 favorite trees in the UCLA Botanical Garden in South Campus. The reason why I wanted to make a line like this is because I wanted to really kind of encapsulate my time on campus. Since this is kind of a graduation capstone project for me, it's in a way a sort of send-off into my new era. With just $150 to make at least 6 pieces, then you can't be going to like premium fabric stores and buying like the finest quality fabrics. So I found instead that going to thrift stores and like picking up tablecloths and shower curtains and like even napkins, like placemats, was a good way to find one unique looking fabric that you can't find in normal fabric stores. But it's a good way to maximize materials that are already in circulation rather than buying brand new fabric, brand new trimmings, brand new buttons, brand new zippers. You can instead repurpose what's already out there and transform it and give it a new life.
I'm Shasta.
I'm Gersha.
And our line is called Rebel.
So when we first paired up, like we both had, like the one thing we had in common was that like we made dresses. Like what we had in mind was like formal wear, I guess. And once we like figured out like the general aesthetic and everything like that, like we kind of settled on like dark colors and metallic honestly, the entire thing that holds all together is just everything's crazy. Like
Yes.
everything's sparkly, everything has like cutouts, like everything's poofy.
Our line, the goal of it is not too much to be wearable, but you know, I guess like it could be wearable if you wanted it to. It's more about getting out of your comfort zone, but being confident in whatever you're wearing. So not being afraid to stand out, be yourself, be on the little edgy side, and just really empower everybody that's wearing our clothes to really feel like themselves and free to express themselves however they felt.
Watch the fashion show, be there.
Watch the fashion show. We love you guys.
My name is Gabriel DeCipolo. I want to be a fashion designer because I like seeing people enjoy the clothes I make and seeing the things that I've sewn move on people's bodies. So my line is called communicative action, which is a word from sociology that means essentially people coming together with a common understanding, trying to accomplish a common goal. I want to emphasize the weird and human and natural moments in our structured lives. And so the visual language I want to use for that is that of plants in concrete that are juxtaposed against these very rigid type of outfits. And so a lot of what I'm inspired by with this is uniforms, whether it be school uniforms, corporate uniforms, military type uniforms, being broken by these natural or human forms. I think that going forward, people are going to be way more personally expressive in their fashion, and I just want to embrace those weird moments and just be really who you are and not really conform to the uniforms you're supposed to wear.
I'm Sarah, and I was motivated to pursue fashion design because I've always liked doing art, and I just wanted to have like more tangible products that I've like completed.
I'm Agnes, and I want to pursue fashion because I think it's a form of art that you can experience from so many different like sensory levels, like feeling, touch, sight, sound, everything. And I love art, and so I love the full body experience. That is fashion.
Our line is about like different textures of the ocean.
I've kind of really thought about like how man-made textures and organic textures interact in the ocean and how they kind of like feed off one another and influence one another.
We wanted it to be able to like not only like be kind of size inclusive, but also just easy to put on and like wear. So like the pants all have elastic waistbands. The ties are also pretty adjustable, like for the skirt.
A lot of things have ties, and that kind of has expanded to like how our human impact or footprint is almost like a collaboration with nature, but not necessarily a positive one. But it does make new things in different forms that didn't exist previously.
Hi, my name is Chizaram Iwanyawu, and I am a third year.
Hi, my name is Bisola Murupe, and I'm a second year.
And the name of our line is Owambe.
One Nigeria.
Our line is basically 3 different tribes that we've kind of put together, and we want to show unity. We want to show exactly like we say, one Nigeria.
As a Yoruba person, the dressing is different than compared to like an Igbo person and their like wedding.
In our culture, for the weddings, we have these, I don't say costumes, but they're called masquerades, and they dance and they do this whole performance. And the actual masquerades are usually made of like these straws and leaves and all these things that you just find in nature. So we wanted to kind of emulate that.
So we want to represent Black people, especially because it's we always see Black people in like darkness, and we're trying to bring
a
light,
more positive light.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, that we brought 3 different tribes. We brought Igbo, Yoruba, and Fulani / Hausa people together so we could be unified, and it's beautiful. It's like a wedding of all the tribes.
I'm Megla, and my line is called See You in My Dreams. So my line, it's basically me exploring psychedelia and the dream realm. A lot of the pieces are very feminine and very girly and even fairy tale-like, so I'm exploring topics like goddesses or fairies and Yeah, I focus a lot on color too, but it's mostly creating this fictional world and creating kind of a storyline through my pieces. I'm studying art and design right now, and I remember when I was little, my mom used to make clothes and toys for us. So she taught me as well when I was younger. So right now, I feel like this is the best time in my life to explore my art path. Yeah, it was my mom who inspired me, and also I wanted to just see where my art practice could go. My creative process is very intuitive and quite spontaneous. So even though I start with a plan and I start with sketches and I narrow them down to like my main pieces, as I'm creating, they always change, and it's very much like influenced by what I'm going through, for example, or I get inspiration while I'm creating. So it's very, very intuitive.
Yeah, my line is depicting 6 out of the 12 zodiacs, because I've always loved zodiacs. Like, I think it's a great way to connect with people. Like, right off the bat, everyone has a birthday, everyone like has a zodiac, so I think it's a great way to connect with people. So I've always like loved that aspect about it. So I wanted to personify like each one of them, and I knew I couldn't make all 12 of them. I was like, there's no way. So I chose 6 of them, and then I got rid of one of them and added my own zodiac into it because I'm selfish. But yeah, I just really wanted to like personify each of the zodiacs. My creative process is always really sporadic. Like, I think I had a good idea what my line was gonna be in the beginning when I applied to FAST, because we had to submit like 3 of our sketches. But I continuously change them. So over winter break, I went to Florida with my family. So we were driving for like 5 hours. And on the way, I was like, wait, I actually don't like my ideas. So literally just the entire ride, I was just staring off. I was like thinking about like what my other line could be. And that's basically how my creative process goes. It's just really sporadic. I got more into fashion design like at the end of quarantine. And I started like modifying my own clothes, like adding like new stuff to like thrifted clothes and like modifying fabrics that I already had. But I was really bad at it. So I got into it more like at UCLA. Definitely when I joined FAST, it was a really big like learning experience. And yeah.